Good day, fellow SuccessStreet.net listeners. Today, I'm delighted to have Tami Jaffe here with me on my podcast show as she has expertise in taking her business online and so forth. Tammy's a breakout growth expert, energy shifter, author, and speaker who inspires successful professionals who are dreaming to resign or do something new. Tami helps guide her clients through this sometimes overwhelming prospect of changing careers or starting a new business. Tami is an eWomen Network premier success coach, which helps women start up and get the right strategy in place and ensure they're going to do the right things at the right time. I welcome Tami Jaffe today. She is a career transition and business success coach. I've known Tami because of eWomen and being a platinum member and going to lovely Newport Beach, California, and so forth. And what I loved about Tammy's is her energy and her honesty. She's given me some great tips, even about podcasting very early on. And so I welcome you today and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you. Maybe you could share some of the broad brush strokes of your story and your business evolution and purpose.
Sure. So I call myself a recovering CPA. I started my career as an accountant and I made a few career shifts along the way, but I was in corporate working my way up and I ended my career as in my corporate career as the head of real estate technology for the third largest real estate company in the world. And it was through that process of making some career transitions, some things that have happened to me throughout my career that I realized that I didn't want to stay in the corporate environment forever. That the politics and the things that were happening behind the scenes were things that I didn't love. I did love what I did. I loved my team. I had an amazing team, but I knew there was something more. I knew there was something better. And so it's what it started my journey of figuring out what was that next career path for me. If I was going to leave the corporate career, what was going to be next for me? And it was through coaching and through energy healing that I came to the realization that I've always called myself or mentor manager. When people would ask me, what kind of manager are you? I'm like, I'm a mentor manager. I help you figure out what's best for you. I help that you figure out where you want to go and what your next career move is. And that was something I always loved about managing people, but not something a lot of managers do. And I realized that coaching was really taking that to a new level for me and being able to now help people who are going through those transitions, successful professionals who you get to a point in your career, you're just discontent. You don't love it. You're trying to figure out what's next and figuring out what that next step is for people, helping them figure out what the right path is. And then if they, go on the path to becoming an entrepreneur, getting their business started, what to do when in their business so that they are doing the right things and not wasting a lot of time and money and they could replace their income and be excited and have that freedom and flexibility that they're really looking for. That's kind of a little bit about my background and how I got to where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. I remember when I was an entrepreneur and it was going well. And but I decided that I was a little undercapitalized for exactly what I was doing. So I was closing the doors, and wouldn't you know it, there was something new knocked on my door, and I got basically recruited to work for an awesome company, which is where I am today. And it was a leap of faith, you
Mhm.
know. But in part, necessity was the mother of invention as well. It was time to say goodbye to the old and start something new. And if
Mhm.
I had just known you then, so listeners out there today, right now, we have somebody, if you're on the fence or if your business is morphing or shifting, um, or so forth, and you want to evolve that to something else, you want to listen up. Tammy's got some pearls of wisdom she's going to share with us. And for those fellow listeners, men and women out there who have that entrepreneurial spirit, how is it that, how is your approach maybe set you apart from some of the others? May I ask?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the things I will say is I am not just a straight coach, right? I do coaching, I do energy work, and I think it's the
Mhm.
combination of the two of those things that
Yeah.
really helps people make big shifts in their lives, in their businesses, in their careers, that helps them break through some of those things that are holding you back. So many people say, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do next, and helping them get the clarity that they need. So I am one of those people who someone starts telling me some ideas and thinking about things, and I see a big vision of where their business is going to go, where they want to go in their life. And
Yeah.
I'm starting to see them like 5, 10 years down the road sometimes of where they could go. And I think the one thing that I bring to the table too is a lot of people either see like a bigger vision or they see like the small tasks you have to do in the next 30 days, right? Like most
Right.
people don't see kind of both. And I'm able to, because I've done project management for years and done large scale implementations, things like that. I can see the big vision. And then I have that
Mm.
ability to break it down into actionable steps and things that you need to do now, things that are going to help you build. What do you do at that next step? And being able to break that down, because I think that's something that people struggle with. It's like, where do I go next? What's the right strategy for me? How do I integrate that into my business or into my life to make it successful?
Right. So you brainstorm, you help them get through analysis paralysis, you help them tap into what is their real passion and what that could translate to, how to evolve it. And I just think that's so wonderful. Is that right? Is that some of the things you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes we get too much in our own heads and we can't see like
Mm.
beyond what our own, you know, thoughts are. And so you need someone to kind of lay it out for you. You need someone to build that strategy and then help you see, how is that possible? What are the things I need to do in order to make that successful?
Do you do ongoing coaching to help them get where they're going
Yeah,
along the
absolutely.
process? Yeah.
Yes, ongoing. We do, most of my clients work with me for a minimum of a year, depending on what they're working on and where they're going, because some of these bigger transitions and when you want to make a big change in your business, it takes time and it takes momentum. And in order to get that momentum, you've got to be doing the right steps. And so we work together over a period of time because I always say you've got to get the courage to take that first step, right? And when you
Mm.
take the first step, then the next step becomes a little more clear and you can take the next step. And as you continue to take steps, it builds momentum. But
Yeah.
each time you take a step, something challenging comes up, something gets in the way, and you're wondering, how do I handle this? What do I need to do in this situation? How do, so many different things that way work with my clients on whether it's, things like sales calls are a huge hindrance to so many people, especially those coming from a job that they worked for somebody else and they didn't really have to sell themselves or sell their products. That can be a big challenge. And so it's an example of one of the things that we work through. Like, what do you need to be saying so that you don't feel salesy in a conversation, right? Owning the value that you're going to provide to someone else so that you're offering a service. You're not trying to sell. And if that service is right for the other person, then it's going to be a match. But I think
That's right.
there's so many of these little things that when people are starting a business, they don't realize are challenges they're going to have to come over, are perspectives that they need to shift a little bit in order to be able to have the biggest impact that they want to have. And so those are the things that we work through as they get to each step of their business and seeing, okay, what's that next shift you need to make in order to get more momentum, in order to build your business and grow it the way you want it to.
Mhm. I think people thrive ultimately when they have a partner and they know they're being guided instead of being felt like they're being left to their own devices.
Yes.
And with all your background and many many years in doing this, and business experience, project management, and successfully guiding people, you'd be ultimately one that people would want to talk with. And I know that when we spoke, you kind of met me where I was at that moment, and embraced me, new to podcasting and this sort of thing. Um, and it was just wonderful the way you are just relaxed and just sink right in and give your very sincere and well spoken advice. And so I was thinking about your all the women in business, and um, have you do you have an example of somebody that, like a little story of somebody you worked with and how that went, how that evolved for them and you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many to pick from. So
No,
a
I'm sorry, I
couple.
didn't give you any warning.
Yeah, I will talk about, someone who came to me recently, and it was a couple, and they had been in business. Her husband was a lawyer, and he was trying to start another, his own practice, his own business, and they were kind of going into business together, and she was going to be the front of the business, and he's behind the business and doing the work. And we had just a couple calls and gave them some real strategies about how they needed to get out and make connections, how they needed to make the announcement of the shift, how they needed to do some reach outs and some networking things that they could do. And just by applying a couple small strategies, she showed up to, it was either the second or the third coaching call, and she's like, we just got 4 clients. It was just
That's
within like a
great.
short month. They started off with nothing, but knowing what to do and knowing the strategies that you need to take based on what your business is and based on what you know you have in store and where you want to get to, it makes a big
Right.
difference. And so they were very quickly getting to a point where they were reaching their goals and hitting their income goals. And of course, there's adjustments along the way and things that come up. And so I think it's
Mhm.
different for every single person. I've had other, clients that I've done some energy work on. And,
Mhm.
one of my first clients that I ever did energy work on, we were in Paris and we're doing an intensive, and we did some energy work, and she was having a really difficult time financially. She had had a
Mhm.
business for a while, but it had been one of those roller coaster businesses where she was, she gets some money and then nothing. And then she was in one of those dry spouts. And
Mhm.
we did some energy work and cleared some of the stuff that was keeping her from being able to bring in income into her business and keeping her to be able to have that consistency within her business. And within 2 weeks, she brought in thousands of dollars into her business and got back on track. And so sometimes it's the
Mhm.
strategy we need. Sometimes it's this block and this pattern that we have in our lives that needs to be shifted so that we can create a new pattern for ourselves.
That is beautiful. That is so well said. I don't think I need to ask you much more, because I think you've told listeners so much about your business and your spirit, and energy yourself and where you're coming from, that I'd love to invite the listeners today to go to Tami Jaffe, TamiJaffe.com, to go to her website and check her out and connect with her. And also, do you want to? Well, I can give you her phone number or other contact information. But Tammy, you and I were talking that there might be a couple of tips and maybe an exciting giveaway. Maybe we should do that next.
Yeah, well, I definitely have something that I think would be appropriate for a lot of the people listening. And depending on where you're at in your business, I'd love to have a conversation with you and just see what is that thing that's holding you back. But
Mm.
if you go to chatwithtammy.com, you can set up a free call where we will just get on and see what's going on for you. Where are you at? So that we can see,
Mm.
what do you need to shift? what do you need to do next? Where are you missing? Are you missing that strategy, or are you missing, a piece of being
Mm.
consistent? Are you missing the confidence that you need to get out there and do the things that you need to do? And so if you go to chat with Tami, it's chat with Tami. My name is spelled a little differently.
Mhm.
Then you can book a call there, and I will take the first 7 people that do that, because I do have limited time. And so I'd love to be able to chat with some of you, see where you're at. You
That's
can also check
wonderful.
out some of the amazing tools and things, free resources I have on my website as well.
Oh, thank you so much. That's wonderful. That's very generous of you. Okay, listeners. So chatwithtami.com. It's that simple. So again, chat, ChatWithtami.com. Go to her website now. The first 7 listeners will be able to sign up and get some time with Tami. And there are some giveaways there. Thank you so much for your time today. You've been most generous. Namaste. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Again, thank you for listening, successstreet.net. And I look forward to connecting with you again on the other side. Thank you, Tami.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a pleasure being here with you. I love your podcast, and
Thank
your
you.
listeners. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.